Good evening, everyone. I'm Mac Moore with Motorcar Marketplace, and today I want to talk about the 1968 Lamborghini Miura that's sold on Bring It Trailer. It's one of 763 Miuras out there in the world, and as we all know, the Lamborghini Miura is the original supercar, and this one sold very, very well, but I think also very fairly. I'll get to that a little bit later on. This Miura in particular was originally sold in Bianca White, and it's car number 133. Under previous ownership, it was actually repainted in red before being purchased by the now seller in 2014, where it underwent a complete restoration with Bobbleaf Motor Car Company. As you can see, the color combination that the seller went with is very eye-grabbing in the Verde green with a blue interior. Maybe not the color choice that a lot of people would have done. I personally love it, and can't think of anything that's just cooler than that. I think it's really tasteful as well. And for a car that you're only going to put a couple miles a year on, I think that's the way to go with it. This restoration, as I said before, was completed at the world-class Bobbleaf Motor Car Company to an extremely high standard, and obviously so. It had its 3.9-liter V12 motor meticulously gone through, and everything, cosmetically on this car is damn near perfect. Upon completion of restoration, this Miura actually did a 2,500-mile drive road trip really to participate in the 2018 Pebble Beach Tour d'Elegance, and what a road trip that must have been, doing 2,500 miles in this car. Unsurprisingly, it's also won numerous awards in its life since the restoration. These awards include the 2016 Concorso Italiano, where it received Best Interior for a Miura, and first place for the European Post-War Sports category at the 2019 Vancouver Concours d'Elegance. The car is currently in Victoria, British Columbia, so it's actually a Canadian car right now, which is pretty interesting. It's a very popular car with a fantastic history, and will be the star of any car show for decades to come. The auction itself, this is something I did want to talk about. This auction was done to a pristine standard. The seller did a wonderful job here. As you can see, they have 3 videos, and each one highlights the car in a different way. This one's a driving video. One of these is another driving video where the dealership itself actually talks about the car, and then the third one is just a standalone video of the car where they go through a couple more details and features of the car that may not be seen during a driving film. I think that's really cool with it. They also added tons and tons and tons of photographs, which, as you know, I'm a huge believer in, and this is why the car fetched the money that it did. It's extremely well cared for, extremely well presented, and they just did a great job. And in one of the photographs is actually pretty interesting. It's here on the interior. You can't really see it here, but the cigarette lighter right by the gear shift actually has a little sticker. So this little sticker actually indicates, and this came from the car back in Italy. So in Italy at the time, cigarettes themselves were not taxed. However, the lighters on cigarettes, or lighters for cigarettes, or I guess lighters in general, were taxed. And to show that you have paid your taxes for that lighter, they gave you this little sticker. So it's very 1960s Italia, which is it's just a super cool little fun feature of this car, and it's really neat that it actually still has it on there. Here are a couple of the pictures of awards that this Miura has won, and in the gallery the seller also posted some photos of the restoration process. Here's the car obviously before it was repainted and redone completely from the inside and out. So unsurprisingly, the bidding started early and often with this one. Up until it hit about $800,000 is when the bidding started to slow down. And this may be the most viewed auction of any auction on Bring a Trailer, at over 100,000 views. And when I've started watching, I watched it from probably the last 30 minutes of the auction onward. It had about 80,000 views when I opened it up, and it surpassed 100,000 by the time the auction had closed. So in those final 20-30 minutes were just skyrocket activity for this auction in particular. Okay, and the big question for this car was $990,000, or really it's with Bring a Trailer's fee included, it's $995,000. Was that a fair figure for this car? And I'm actually of the belief that it was a fair figure for this car, especially when we go to look at the Hagerty value guides for a Lamborghini Miura right now, right under $1 million. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is one that had, driving onto the lawn at the finest Concours. Well, this is one that has had that. So at $995,000, that seems to be a very fair number for this car, especially when you look at the high grade value guides. And these cars so rarely go up for sale, and so rarely do they actually have a sale price with any of them, that it's kind of tough to value them. So with the limited amount we have here, see there's a 69 P400S that's for sale at $1,095,000. Then there's another P400S with a frame off restoration for $2 million. And then a 72 SV, which is an extremely valuable car, for over $3 million. So at $995,000 and $990, and then $995 with Bring a Trailer's fee, it seems to be very fairly bought. I'm not gonna say well bought, very, very fairly bought. And as far as future prices of these cars go, I'm actually of the belief that these cars will never lose value, and I think everyone's in agreement with that. However, I wouldn't say they're actually going to appreciate at a really rapid pace either. They're not going to appreciate like something like an E46 BMW M3 or something like that. It's going to obviously hold its pace with inflation, probably go a little bit better than inflation. These cars are just so timeless and elegant, and they're such a hallmark of Lamborghini's history as a brand, as an auto manufacturer, that these cars will be damn near priceless until the end of time, honestly. Okay, now it should be said that this car is actually not the most expensive car that's ever been sold on Bring a Trailer. That honor, actually goes to this 56 Mercedes-Benz Gullwing. It's a 300 SL Gullwing that's sold for $1,234,567, or lovingly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this car also, just like the Miura, was finished to an extremely high standard, or restored to an extremely high standard, This Miura was actually the second most expensive car ever sold on Bring a Trailer, and it's shocking to see that a car of this value is actually gonna go for sale and fetch the number it did through a completely virtual auction. And granted, that's kind of the times we live in, especially with COVID right now. But I think that's just wild that we have that today. No longer do you have to go to Gooding and Company or Arm Sotheby's to fetch high dollar numbers anymore. Now you can just go to Bring a Trailer and get a number that's just as good without having to deal with all the fees and expenses that go with bringing your car up to an auction at a Pebble Beach and then going through Arm Sotheby's process and all of that. So very huge win for Bring a Trailer, obviously. And the seller also did say, or at least they alluded to the fact that the reserve for this car was at $950,000, and my estimate was $975,000, so it wasn't too far off. And again, a huge win for everyone. I would like to give props to the seller, who's Silver Arrow Cars Limited. They're in Victoria, British Columbia, and have a super neat selection of cars. Actually, they also have a 56 300 SL for sale. That's super funny. But yeah, they're obviously a very well-respected, well-regarded dealer, and it's going to be interesting to see if they put anything else for sale on Bring a Trailer. 911 Carrera RS, I think they put that for sale on Bring a Trailer earlier today, and it did sell, but I'll have to double check that. Anyhow, at the end of the week, I'll do my weekly Bring a Trailer recap, just showing what cars I think sold well, what cars I didn't think sold well, and what the future value for all these other cars looks like in the market going forward. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.